How's it going, everyone? Of course, this week we are coming up on a new PlayStation State of Play event, and while it's not going to be as big as some of the other State of Plays, and of course not going to be as big as the PlayStation Showcase, this is going to be a 20-minute stream, and also it's going to focus on third-party titles. There are not going to be first-party titles shown, so don't expect updates on like Spider-Man, Wolverine, any of those games, God of War, Horizon. Although, we just got a big update on Horizon today, so go check out the video we did on that if you're interested in that game. But in this video, I want to talk about some of the games that I would personally like to see at the State of Play event. I am keeping my expectations in line. I got one shot in the dark about a new announcement that I would like to see from a third party, and then other than that, I want to go over some games I'd like to see more of titles that are already announced and that are coming in 2022, hopefully in 2022 at least. So let's just get right into it. I believe I have 7 things to go over. So starting things off, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. This was scheduled to drop early this year, and then it just got delayed and delayed and delayed, and we have not heard much about it. We do know that Ubisoft is hard at work on the game and they want to get it right. Of course, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time is an incredibly iconic game. A lot of people look at it as the best Prince of Persia game of all time, and I was a big fan of The Sands of Time, but I was a wee lad when the game initially came out. So I'm excited to see a modernized version and a modernized take of the game with upgraded visuals and everything like that. I mean, to give you guys an idea of the reception of the game, of the original game that is, PlayStation 2, 92 out of 100 on Metacritic, Xbox, 92 out of 100, GameCube, 92 out of 100, the PC version, and 89 out of 100. It got stellar reviews, and it's still one of those iconic games that people are very nostalgic about. However, I would love to see this remake get a little bit more of a progression update in the sense of we really don't know where it's at. Currently, it is tentatively scheduled for Q1 of 2022. We're already coming up on that. We're already coming up on Q1 of 2022 pretty soon, so I'd like to hear a little bit more about this game. I don't want this game to be one of those titles that just goes to the wayside forever. I'm sure it's not. It's a remake at the end of the day. It's not in the case of a Beyond Good and Evil 2 where that's an ambitious sequel. I'm sure this is a game that the development studio is like, hey, people loved this game back in the day, we really need to do it justice with this release, and that's why the delay happened. But hopefully we do hear about this sooner rather than later, and I'd love to see it at this next State of Play event. Here's one that's a total shot in the dark, something that I would just like to see. Tales of Arise just came out, and I talked about how big of a fan of that game I was. Now, I'm not going to ask for a new Tales of game to be revealed. A brand new one? No, that's probably not going to happen, and probably not going to happen anytime in the near future. I would imagine that would probably come, 16 months, 2 years down the line from now. Generally, Tales of gets new releases every 2 to 3 years, and Tales of Arise, it took a little bit longer because, the pandemic happened, and then the development of this game, this was kind of a restructuring of the franchise. However, there is a back catalog of Tales of games that I would love to see get a modernized look on, and now more than ever, I feel like Tales of is as hot as it's ever been as a franchise. I feel like people are into Tales of as a franchise. I feel like people would be down to check out a remaster, more so than a remake. I don't think a remake is going to happen of any of the games. It seems like Bandai Namco is more of the remastering side of things, but I would love to see a remaster of one of the Tales of games. Now, which one? You could go a plethora of different routes. You could go Tales of Symphonia, you could go Tales of Xillia. Of course, I thought Xillia was great, but I would love to see a remaster of Tales of the Abyss. Tales of the Abyss is an excellent Tales of title that unfortunately has kind of been lost in the ether. The game initially came out on the PlayStation 2. It did get a port on the Nintendo 3DS, however, that's just not something a lot of people are going to check out, especially now in 2021. I would like Tales of Abyss to be preserved for the long term because of how excellent of a game it was. When I talk about Tales of, I often talk about how I think Yuri is one of the best main characters in a JRPG, and that holds true, but honestly, thinking about it, Tales of Abyss's main character and Luke probably has some of the best character development I've ever seen in a JRPG, and I would like for that to be preserved. It's available on the PlayStation 2, yes, you can emulate the game, and that's not too difficult, but I would like a true version available on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, have it trophies and achievements, PlayStation and Xbox, that'd be great, and it would give an audience something to sink their teeth into after playing Tales of Arise, and that game has sold really well, the fastest selling Tales of game of all time, and why not build upon that momentum by doing a remaster, announce it, and maybe release it sometime in the middle of 2022, end of 2022 even? If you can get it out by early 2022, that'd be great, but sometime early to mid 2022 I think makes all the sense in the world. It's not like I'm asking for a complete restructuring of Tales of Abyss. I'm not asking for a full-on remake, although if Bandai Namco wants to do that, feel free to do that. I would love to see it. But in this case, a Tales of Abyss remaster, I think, would be great. Okay, another title I'd like to see a little bit more of. Let's rapid fire some of these. Saints Row. Saints Row's coming out at the end of February, and it's a game that I'm not completely sold on yet. I like Saints Row as a franchise, but I need to see a little bit more of it before I completely commit to Saints Row. And that early 2022 period, man, oh man, you got some competition there, Saints Row. You got your Horizons, you got your Elden Rings, even from other platforms. You know, people are going to be dropping money on like a Pokemon Legends Arceus. There's going to be a lot of competition for a gamer's dollar in the early period of 2022, and Saints Row is just, to me, coming across like one of those games that I'm not completely sold on, but it's on that, you know, make or break, I think, for a lot of people on whether or not this is going to be a buy or a pass and waiting on a sale for. And I think a lot of people are leaning on waiting on a sale for this one, so we'll see how that turns out. Another game I'd like to see a little bit more of is Sifu. Sifu is a game being done by Slowclap, the same guys that did Absolver. I really liked Absolver. It wasn't, by any stretch of the imagination, a perfect game, and it definitely had its mechanical issues, but I thought it had a lot of potential, and with Sifu, they're retaining the great look and art style, and I think thematically, it's looking to be a step up. So I'd like to see a little bit more on that. That's out February 22nd, so again, another game that, you know, it's competing for your dollar in that early portion. Another title, Shadow Warrior 3. You guys know how I feel about Shadow Warrior 1 and 2. Excellent, excellent first-person, stylish hack-and-slash shooters. They are so great, and we know that Shadow Warrior 3 is coming. We know it's going to be on PC, PS4, Xbox One. It's going to have upgrades on PS5. I want to see more of the game. I think this is a game that, you know, it can get a lot of traction, and I'm surprised that Shadow Warrior isn't more popular. It seems to be more popular on PC than it is consoles, but I think it has a lot of potential going forward, and I hope Shadow Warrior 3 is the game in the series that makes a lot of people take note, because it's an excellent franchise. Would just like to know when it's coming out, when I could expect to play it. A little bit more gameplay would be nice as well. Next up, Gotham Knights by WB Games Montreal. Now, Gotham Knights, when I initially saw this game's footage, I was a little bit on it. You know, I'm not the biggest superhero fan, you know, comic fan, even the movies. Like, I'll watch the movies here and there, and I'll get into it here and there. However, I have recently been watching Titans on HBO Max, and that show's fantastic, and now I'm like a Nightwing nut hugger, so like, now I'm a little bit more excited for Gotham Knights. I hope they do Nightwing justice, because that show's fantastic. Recommendation from me, go check out Titans on HBO Max. That's an excellent show, but yeah, that's kind of getting me a little bit more excited for this game. I hope they do a good job with it. WB Games Montreal doesn't get a lot of credit. They did do Batman Arkham Origins, which is kind of like, you know, not the best of the Batman Arkham titles. I liked it. It just was not at the level of the original trilogy, or, you know, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I believe Arkham Origins came out after Arkham City, right? Yeah. But I hope they deliver something of quality with Gotham Knights. Would like to see a little bit more of it, because I think the game does have potential. It's just, I'm a little bit iffy on it. We do know it's going to be coming 2022 with a co-op focus as well. And lastly, seems like this is becoming more and more likely that it's going to be at the show, Final Fantasy 16. Now, my thought process going into the State of Play, it's a 20-minute show. You can only fit so much on it, but if you're going to do a State of Play, you need at least one heavy hitter. You need at least one thing that's going to make people say, oh, that looks really good, and ideally you would like that to be bookending the show in the sense that you're leaving on a high note. I don't think a lot of the games that I mentioned in this video so far, you could really do that. Like Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, I guess, maybe, not really. But a Final Fantasy 16, absolutely, and this still fits the criteria of, oh, this is a PS5 exclusive, at least a timed exclusive, but it is a third-party game. It's being done by Square Enix. I'm pretty sure Sony and Square Enix just worked out a deal, and this game is going to be exclusive for a limited period of time. The gameplay we've seen thus far has looked absolutely stellar. I was a little bit skeptical on seeing this game at the State of Play, just because I would figure the next time we see this game is going to be the big info drop where we hear a lot about the game, we hear the release date and everything like that. Maybe that is coming up, because it does seem like this game is relatively far along in development, and I do think we're going to see it in 2022. I've said this in a couple of videos before, and I just get lambasted in the comments section, people thinking I'm out of my mind behind it. People thinking that's crazy. Bro, did you see the development of Final Fantasy 15? You ain't playing this until 2026. Obviously, I'm reaching a little bit, but a lot of people think that the game's not coming out in 2022. And I get it, Square Enix does not give us a reason to be optimistic a lot of the times with their JRPG development cycles, but I think with FF16, given the team behind it, given the producer is Naoki Yoshida, I really do think this game is going to be developing at a much smoother rate than previous Final Fantasy titles. Hell, if we're comparing it to Final Fantasy 15, something astronomically wrong would have to happen for Final Fantasy 16 to have a worse development period than Final Fantasy 15, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I would love to see this game at the State of Play. I've been waiting for a while to see more of it. I just think the background, the visuals, everything we've seen thus far has been at an incredibly high level. Hopefully, we do see this game at the State of Play event. So again, that's gonna do it for me. That's everything I would personally like to see. This is all shot in the darks. I have no insider information. This is just what I would personally like to see, knowing that it's going to be a 20-minute event, knowing we just got the PlayStation Showcase, knowing that this is going to be a little bit of a scaled-back State of Play given what we've seen recently. Thought I would put some things in that seems reasonable, but also not too big of a stretch if you get my drift, but stuff that I think people would still like to see. That's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. What would you like to see? And keep your expectations in line. Remember, first party's not gonna be there. Gonna be a third-party show, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.